Welcome, one and all, Wastelanders, adventurers, and everyone else in between, to the PIPCAST 3000, episode 79. I'm Caedo Genesis, and this is my co-host Bad Company Sarge.
I'm Cold.
He's also known as Cold. This is a bi-weekly podcast every other Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, where we talk about gaming and Fallout. So we have our news section, and then we have our Fallout topic section. And we just hang out and talk about video games and primarily Fallout and stuff, right? At least I think so.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
79 episodes in. I hope we still do. Our topic for this episode will be which Fallout intros plus their first hours are the best. And we'll probably get into, kind of the worst as well, or things we like to rant about, because Sarge was telling me that he has things to rant about for. I'm going to be very
angry and loud.
Some of the game intros. And also the power going out thing probably didn't help either. But if you want to skip around, you are more than welcome to do that. We have, of course, the news stuff that comes first, but we have chapter points in the video itself, so you can pick and choose what you want to watch or listen to. And there's going to be probably B-roll game footage also playing over this. Maybe. There'll probably be Fallout footage. I don't know what I have captured to put up here, so we'll see what happens. How do you all feel for having different games besides Fallout? Would that be too wrong for a Fallout oriented podcast to do? I don't know.
I like the idea of it.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Commenters help me decide, because it may just be repeated footage otherwise from the Let's Play.
Yeah, it feels like there's going to be a lot of Fallout 2 footage otherwise.
Because this is up to 2 hours of just raw footage that is playing in the background, or if it even matters. I want to know that too, if it even matters for anybody. Anyway, let's get onto the things and stuff. Tip of the day, Sarge, you typed this up.
Yep. Tip of the day is to keep supplies prepared in case you have a potential power outage, which means you get no electricity for over 24 hours, and then the podcast you were supposed to record is delayed by a day, and there's no heating, so you're freezing cold, and you've got a heater on right now and are wrapped up in several layers. So it's good to have supplies prepared for, in case that hypothetically could possibly happen.
Yes, hypothetically, what kinds of supplies would you want to keep?
Lots of canned tin food, stuff you don't need to heat up. I had some very lukewarm noodle soup yesterday that I cooked, because it's hard to cook things without the electricity and with no timers. Yeah, lots of tin food. If you've got any heat packs that just work by cracking them and stuff, good like that. Make sure you got plenty of warm clothes about. Just all the basic stuff you'd need to survive over a 48-hour period, I'd say, is the key thing to prepare for. Yeah,
it's good. It's good to have some form of power outage supplies anyway. Yeah. Especially if you're going out into the world, leaving the nest, as it were, and getting your own place. That's one of the things that Kite, myself, and their former partner decided to do was get some things just in case things went wrong. Which power goes out in the city too. Yeah. Fairly regularly, because people can't stop hitting telephone pole or power poles and stuff. So keep some candles handy, flashlights. As Sarge was saying, the hand warmer or heating situation, I have a few of those in my bug out bag. That could lead into a whole different have a bug out bag thing. Yeah. Especially if you live in the city.
Prepare for literally every situation that could possibly happen.
Prepare for everything, but don't become paranoid.
Yep.
That's a very careful balance you have to have.
Yeah. Don't think anything bad's gonna happen, but have everything prepared for if it does.
Yes, everything. Thousands of dollars later. Anyway... every episode we have a comment of the cast where we pull a comment from the last episode. I want to mention that our last episode we had a very special guest, William Strife, one of the Bethesda game guide legends or Fallout guide legends, joined us for a couple hours, and we went off the rails a whole bunch, and it was a really fun time. So If you haven't heard that episode yet, I highly recommend it. He was someone who inspired my own approach to making guides, so it was a treat, as it were, to have him on the podcast. Anyway, Sarge, would you like to read the comment of the cast?
Sure thing. It's from Caroline and Garrison Savage.
Yeah, Savage.
My first Fallout experience was free, and I was immediately hooked until I finished vanilla content, and before I bought the DLC. Truly awesome to see Caedo and Will talk about Fallout. Been learning from the both since, like, high school.
Yeah! So savage!
Savage!
I like, that's one of my favorite comment voices you've done. Sarge.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Caroline and Garrison Savage. Whoever, maybe you both commented it at the same time. Oh my god, did I just lose the thing?
Oh no, have you just deleted everything? The entire
No.
recording gone? Oh
no! I made the comment on the document go away, but apparently it's still there. Reopen. That's marked as resolved a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, sorry. This is really exciting for everybody else.
Woo. I mean, I can see what's happening, and even I don't understand what's going on.
I have no idea. Basically, just hitting that check mark is a bad idea, so I'm not going to do it again.
Oh no, I want to click it.
Don't.
Okay, I won't. Let's just get onto the news before I click it.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, have you heard Cyberpunk has had patch 1.5? Of course you have. Every single person who has anything to do with games has one person who will tell them it over and over again.
Yes.
That's what I'm finding.
Someone will cover Cyberpunk. It just will happen. Yeah. I watched Mr. Matty Plays kind of breakdown of it. There were not just bug fixes as expected with Cyberpunk 2077 at this point, but there was also just new additional content added to Cyberpunk. Some of them are quality of life things. Some of them are just like very subtle things that weren't included in the patch notes. One of them was that was mentioned in Maddie's video, though, was actually a little bit inaccurate, because he, like, one of the last features he mentioned was corpos jumping out of buildings and splattering on the pavement. That had been there since the initial launch of the game. But maybe it's more frequent now to add a little more, horrible dystopia corpo life.
That's good.
Features. Crown improvements. Were you going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to do a quick rundown of the list.
Oh, do it.
Because you can now buy a bunch of different apartments and upgrade your starting apartment in Mega Building H10, which is something I was asking for from, like, the start of the game, because that's, like, a cool thing to do. There's a bunch of different interactions and stuff which have changed, some bonuses added in, so, like, if you sleep, you get the rested status, Skyrim style. You get more weapons and stuff have been added, and muzzle brakes are now a thing. There's some added scopes and just a few extra tweaks to weapons and things there. You can change your character's appearance after making them. You can't change, like, the main stuff, like your body and actual facial features, which I feel should be a thing. This is a Cyberpunk game, like...
Yeah.
It should be a thing. But you can change your hair now! Wow!
Yay!
Crazy! Haircuts! Who knew that? There's some new photo mode poses, and the AI has been, changed and hopefully improved quite a bit. So crowd improvements, so the crowd doesn't just walk stationary, and that's it. Combat AI has been made a little bit better, so fingers crossed it makes that more fun. They've changed, like, the braking system for driving, which I hope is a good sign that just... we all know. Let's not talk about that.
Driving improvements again.
Yep.
Potentially to actually improve things, but I don't know, because I haven't loaded up the game in a long time.
It. I mean, I couldn't, but I wasn't going to anyway. There's been a bunch of balance, combat, cyberware, like, balancing things. Just a lot of, like, tweaking of things to hopefully make the game a bit better. Some perk effects have been changed as well. You're now able to, like, climb through broken glass Yay! My favorite activity.
Yay!
There's a lot of just small changes there. There's a huge, like a ridiculous full page list of like quest changes and fixes, which is good. And one of my favorite things I did see is V now has standing with fixers throughout Night City. New fixer gigs will appear gradually in sets as your standing increases, and a fixer will offer you another set of gigs only after the previous set is completed in a given district. And if you complete all the gigs for a fixer, you will earn a special reward. Except for Mr. Hands, apparently. Screw Mr. Hands. But yeah, that's something as well which I really wanted, because the fixers to me were like a cool idea, because I love mercenary-style stuff, but they were literally just... They give you a quest over the radio and that was it. Yeah. So now they're slightly better. Like, this seems very good overall, and it's why if you've got a friend who liked Cyberpunk, they probably have been talking to you no end about, like, patch 1.5 dropping, and people seem pretty happy with it overall. There are some changes that people didn't like. The one I've seen is you used to be able to, like, crit stack and make it so that with the right gear you could get, like, 100% chance to critically hit and then just stack up the crit damage. Apparently that doesn't work now. So, like, there's a few things people don't like, but for the most part, it does seem like they've really, really done a decent job of making the game a little bit better.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. You know what game sucks, though?
Yes.
Lost Ark! God, who would even play that game? Certainly not over 1 million people at once.
Yeah, definitely not 1 million concurrent people.
No.
At one time.
Man, I hope there's not suddenly going to be a news article which will prove everything I said wrong.
Yeah. Dang it. It's not even an article, it's Steam charts.
Oh. Then there isn't a news article for it. I'm right. Perfect. So, yeah.
All-time peak for Lost Ark just on Steam. I don't know if it's on other platforms. On Steam, 1.3 million.
1.3 million? Man.
All-time peak. Yep.
That's a lot.
Yeah. It was, and maybe still is, rivaling CSGO and Dota 2, which have obviously been mainstays for the... Yeah, it's number 2 right now. Between Counter-Strike and Dota 2.
Man.
And it hasn't been out nearly... It hasn't been out for the 30 days. For the if you look at Steam charts, obviously its chart is a little shorter.
Yeah.
Than the rest. And Total War Warhammer 3 is up there too at number 8.
That's because it's perfect.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about that in the what we're playing section. Yep.
Yeah. So Lost Ark though, it seems to be doing great. People generally love it. I did check on Google like a few days ago the reviews for it, and it was like a 3.5 because everyone was either giving it a 5-star or 1-star, but the 1-star was like lots of protest reviews like, oh, I can't get in, the server waiting is too long, and the 5 stars were like, I got in and it's amazing.
Yep.
So it seems that people who actually are playing the game are really enjoying it.
Yes.
And I also heard that servers are easier to get into now.
Yes, they are.
They
definitely are. That's for sure. For anybody who doesn't know, Lost Ark is the brand new MMO that finally came over to the West and is now playable on like European servers as well as US servers. It's basically an answer to those who want a new MMO experience that's streamlined and has ridiculously awesome action and has like the overhead view, kind of like a Diablo-esque kind of game. As I've been playing through it, I've noticed that it's been one of those games that's just like they see something in another game and they're like, this is freaking awesome, we're gonna put it in our game. And some of it is pretty blatant. Like, there is a class called a Gunlancer, which I am playing. Gunlance was coined in Monster Hunter, kind of where it became, a popular thing. And they also have mission types or quest types that are very Monster Hunter in nature, which is just a boss that you have to seek out in a small map area, and it's a big beast that you have to slay. Very interesting how they do certain things. But all as far as I can tell, like most of the classes are extremely fun to play. Like I said, it was streamlined, so you get to level 50. You can get to level 50 like a level an hour, basically.
Okay.
Because that's where, you know, most of the game's content really opens up. Like a lot of games, but unlike Final Fantasy XIV, which will take you probably weeks, this game doesn't take you very long at all. And it's free to play. There's no subscription model. Well, there's a premium bullcrap, but you can actually get there without, you know, paying a cent. So
Nice.
And once you get to a certain point after level 50 and doing the main quest, you can get a boost for a new character. So you can just be like, oh, I want to make this class, but I don't want to level them up. Boom, they're level 50. Like they really want you to get to end game and play that. And the storyline is Capcom campy. So, you know, don't expect too much, but the action is pretty cool. I feel like I just vomited all of my what are you playing section too.
That's
so,
all right. You've totally played other games, right?
I have, yes.
That's fine. You'll be able to talk about them.
I'll talk about the other games during, during that part. Speaking of other games, Baldur's Gate 3 had a Barbarian update.
Oh, I've been a Barbarian.
You have?
I was such a good Barbarian, totally didn't constantly get attacked and fall on the ground.
Yes. You were the greatest Barbarian. So many doors kicked.
Yep. I kicked doors and I got stabbed. Those
fact,
are my two goals.
No doors were unkicked.
Yeah.
After Sarge was done.
Asgore the door kicker.
Asgore the door kicker.
Yes.
Baldur's Gate 3 is still in early access.
Yep. And Larian says it won't leave early access until 2023.
Yes.
How long has this game been out?
I want to say a couple years
at this point. Yeah.
A couple years now.
Yep. It's Dakoba who normally brings it up, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And every single time, if I'm about, I think I have to ask if it's actually been launched yet. It's always no, it's in early access.
No, not yet. Yeah, which is fine.
I am irrationally a little annoyed with games like this, which just go for early access for ages. I do say it's irrational because it really doesn't matter, but
it's like me and Jack Black.
Yeah, although Jack Black's actually nice from what I can tell. Now he's probably done something terrible now that I've said that. No!
It's like me and Jack Black as a YouTuber. I should specify. Yeah. Jack Black trying to be a YouTuber.
Oh, how dare the celebrities come on our turf? Alright, Baldur's Gate 3 though. I'm gonna let you talk about this because I don't really care about this game. I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so the Barbarian is the new class that was introduced. So if you have interest in Baldur's Gate 3 or have Baldur's Gate 3, well, you have a new class to play now. We're still waiting on... Oh, what are we waiting on? We're waiting on Monk, and Dakoba said some other stuff. Dakoba is my resource for information to a lot of the time. But yeah, look forward to when the game is actually done in 2023, and I hope there's no more delays for this game, because I do want to play it with my friends, because it's co-op and it's by Larian and it's fun. That's pretty much it.
Oh, okay. You know what you can have fun with right now? Lego!
Oh yeah, I have some.
You do.
Somewhere.
Guessing you want more.
Yeah, well, young preteen me, yes, probably. I don't really have space for them now.
Oh, okay. Buy a bigger house, then buy the Lego toolneck machine from Horizon Forbidden West. Yeah,
I think it's really cool. So part of the Lego sets for adults. This is through the PlayStation vlog. The Horizon Forbidden West Lego Tall Neck uses clever building techniques to capture the machine's authentic details and measures over 34 centimeters. That's 13.5 inches high. You can display the tall neck on a stand with details from the Horizon landscape, such as a birch tree and a rusty traffic light. Also included is a Lego Aloy minifigure featuring her bow and spear, and even a watcher with either blue, yellow, or red eyes. This Kite was the one who actually linked this to me. And this opens up a whole wonderful can of worms. I should say just door. I should say door instead of can of worms, because can of worms is a negative association. Depending on who you are, yes. That there could be more gaming-based Legos. We could be seeing more game-based Lego sets in the future, which would be freaking cool. And because this is by Guerrilla Games, who also provided the engine to Hideo Kojima, I really want a Death Stranding Lego set.
Oh, okay, that's what this is really about. I see.
That's what it's about. That's what this is all about. I just want a Death Stranding Lego set. That's all.
All right.
But I don't know if they could get away with it. But then again, I think it's because Horizon doesn't have as much focus on human to human conflict, that it can get away with having, a mature game Lego set, whereas something, well, like Fallout, for example, I wouldn't really see a Lego set of that, an official one, because you can explode literally anyone.
Yay!
Into meaty bits.
And that's why we play Fallout.
With a mini nuke launcher, or putting a bomb in their pocket, or whatever. But I think that it would make a cool, at least minifigure of Sam Bridges with a stacked backpack walking along a hilltop. I think that would be cool, and I would like to see something like that. But I'm hoping, more Lego stuff on the way that is gaming based. I'm lukewarm, neutral, kind of on the Horizon games. Like, I played the first Horizon game, but I don't have a PS5, so I'm gonna have to wait on Forbidden West. I've heard good things, but I have to wait.
Yep. I'm not gonna play it.
You're not gonna play it.
Yep.
And that's okay too. You have a new game.
Yes. And I also have other games I've played, which are great, like Bioshock. Man, we all love Bioshock. The first one in particular, but the series as a whole.
It's bad.
They're great games. They're amazing. Good. They are so good, but whenever someone says something bad about it, I just talk over them. They're that great. And because
I know they're good.
Yeah. But because they're so good, Netflix is making a Bioshock film.
Oh, how about that? Is that all we know?
Yeah, basically. This was like 4 days ago, 5 days from when this goes out. That Netflix film posted, "Would you kindly get excited because Netflix is partnering with 2K and Take-Two Interactive to produce a film adaptation of a renowned video game franchise, Bioshock." And then there's just like a little image which is like one of the game artwork things of a big daddy with a little sister down in Rapture.
Yep.
And people are arguing back and forth in the replies.
On Twitter. That's Twitter.
Yes.
That's just what Twitter is. Yes. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't considering the order in which we set up these news topics. I should have put this one closer to the Cyberpunk one.
Why?
Because former Witcher Cyberpunk devs form a studio.
They do.
I think this is a pretty big deal, I think.
It is a big deal.
Yes. The Witcher 3 director and Cyberpunk 2077 veterans. Cyberpunk 2077 is still being worked on, but there's veterans from it that left.
Yep.
With the Witcher 3 director, have made a studio called Rebel Wolves. Oh, and they've posted out. Oh yeah, your avatar is a wolf too.
Yeah. I'm an authority on this.
So they have like one piece of art that they've shared, at least from what I can tell here, of their new IP that they're working on, a AAA dark fantasy RPG. And the image kind of implies that there's vampires involved.
Yeah.
Because there's this dude sliding down a cliff with claws and surrounded by bats that
he's
appear
got some
to be...
little fangs as well.
He's got fangs.
Yep.
This looks pretty vampire-like.
Yeah.
So we might be getting a legit vampire RPG from legacy developers of very good open world RPGs.
We also know there's going to be definitely human and non-human characters. We see in the bottom right corner some humans and like a dude who's definitely not a human. I don't know what animal that is. It's got horns, some fur, some messed up teeth, and it looks confused.
Mm-hmm.
But it's standing up, and it's got arms, and it's wearing the same uniform as the humans. So, I think they're friends, which is cute. Maybe that's what the game about. It's all about friendship.
I went to their website, and their tagline's kind of silly, though.
Oh no.
From gamers for gamers.
That's a little bit cringy.
Of course. But their values are fairness, teamwork, and openness.
Yes. I mean, they do talk a fair bit about how they're wanting to show that they can make a game that everyone's going to remember and will be really good, and we're not going to screw over the people working for us. We're going to prove it's possible.
A lot of focus on that, yeah. Taking the approach of, our people come first.
Yeah. We will find out more about this game in the future, but we can assume it's like several years away from coming out.
Yes.
Because they've just basically started this studio somewhat recently.
Yep.
So, yeah, would not expect the game for multiple years. But hey, it'll be good. Might give us something to cover if it's cool.
Yeah, it might be that cool.
Something I am planning on covering, hopefully, maybe when it comes out, is the Fallout series. Remember that, everyone? How Fallout has a, series coming out?
I don't.
Wow. Well, it's not like I talked about it in the last episode of the PIPCAST.
I'm very forgetful, Sarge.
Everyone forgets about this. So Amazon's got a Fallout television series in the works, and the actor Walter Goggins has signed on, and he will be playing GHOUL.
Possibly named GHOUL.
Yes. Well, it appears that in the report, it just says he'll be playing GHOUL.
Yes.
Which those of us who know Fallout can assume means he'll be playing as a ghoul. Yeah, that's...
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. He's been in a lot of movies. The ones I have enjoyed him in are the Tarantino ones, Hateful Eight and Django Unchained. And he's a solid actor. That's a decent sign, I'd say. But yeah, it also says that production's set to begin this year, but we still don't know exactly when it's coming out. But there's been some stuff popping up. So, slowly getting news drip fed to us about this. Just your tri-monthly reminder that a Fallout series is coming out.
Yes. There's stuff that's happening show-wise and movie-wise in gaming. I didn't mention it, or didn't put it in the outline, but the Uncharted movie came out as well.
Oh, is that actually out now?
Yeah.
Man, they didn't do a good job advertising that. I've seen no one talking about it.
Yeah, I've seen mixed reviews. I saw a fully negative review, but then one of the streamers I watched said he enjoyed it. It was a good time. There's fan service.
Yeah. It's with Tom Holland and Marky Mark, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Antonio Banderas.
Ooh, that I didn't know.
Yeah. But I haven't seen it, so I don't have a take. I would love to have a spicy take on this movie because I had such a nice, lovely take on the Monster Hunter film. But I haven't seen it. So
yeah. I saw a trailer for it, and the trailer seemed fine. Although I couldn't. Is Tom Holland Nathan Drake in it?
Yes.
Okay, the trailer didn't make that explicitly clear. As someone who hasn't played the Uncharted games but has seen a fair bit of them, I was like, well, it looks like he's probably Nathan Drake, but maybe Mark Wahlberg's Nathan Drake. I was not certain from the one and only trailer I saw as the only bit of promotion about it.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much because I do want to see it just to see if it's an okay video game film or if it's more just like, more schlock to the pile of video game movies.
My bet is that it's going to be like fine, but not great. Like a fun enough thing to watch, but not the kind of movie you're going to remember for years and years.
Yeah. Hey, as long as it's not just like being blatantly rude to fans of the game, like the Monster Hunter film, like random military unit finds a portal, ends up in Monster Hunter world. That's so dumb. It's not outside of the things that can happen in Monster Hunter, but that's how crossover content happens, not an actual movie. Yeah. That's stupid. That's how Geralt ended up in the Monster Hunter world. He went through a portal.
They really did miss out on an opportunity to just have a game set in that world, because video games have some very cool worlds. And one video game world we are learning more about as time goes by is the world of Starfield.
Oh my god, no way. I want to do Drugfish.
We can do that after the podcast.
In Starfield.
Oh! I wanted to get high! Yeah. Drugfish is something we have learned about. There's been like a trickle of information about Starfield. They're really not letting on to too much, but they're consistently giving like just, here's a drop, here's a drop, here's a drop. And one of them has been like the Drugfish City. And recently we've had a little like interview and another painting a journey through space is of a video, which we see a lot of like art and stuff. It's only like a minute long, but you get to see like some people actually working on the art of the game, which is kind of cool. Hear a bit more about it, see some concept art. There is a little mech at like the 37-second part, which we saw in the trailer, and the ship I believe we saw in the trailer as well. Get to see the art of them. It's kind of cool, I'm down for anything more Starfield. And there's also been like interviews with people on it, and one of the things I really liked from this little article is the quote, "Early on in this project, when we were trying to establish the overall aesthetic of this game, we sort of coined the term NASA-punk to describe a sci-fi universe that's a little more grounded and relatable. We wanted a very realistic take. You can draw a line from current-day space technology and extrapolate from there into a future, so it's believable and relatable." So, I do like the idea that they are taking this as, like, not super far sci-fi, just like, oh yeah, this will be humanity in, like, a couple of 100 years kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I personally like, because I often struggle to get into sci-fi games, or sci-fi projects in general, if they go a little too far out of a grounded side of things. It's like, once you start getting the thing of, and technology has just solved everything, don't ask questions. But I'm not too into. But this seems like nice and grounded for a space game. Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of like it. Like everything we're hearing from this seems pretty solid. Yeah,
so far.
Yes.
I feel like once we get, is E3's happening this year, right?
Probably a digital one, I guess.
Yeah, it might be another digital E3. Either way, that's probably around the time or a little bit prior where we'll probably hear like a lot more, like a big info drop of Starfield, because that'll be a couple months out from the release date.
Oh, yeah, it's November 11th for release date, right?
Yep.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yep.
Man, I really hope it's going to be a good big game that the internet doesn't decide from day one it hates.
Yep.
Oh, fingers crossed.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been working on a little spreadsheet for a side project, just in case, kind of thing. But it might be just a project before Starfield drops. Yeah. But there's others I can do in that format.
That's good.
So
yeah, I've got my own secret project, which I'll be releasing in like a little more than a month from now, I think. And that'll be like my tide me over till Starfield comes out. And then I want to start covering Starfield before it's out, just with like, here's what we know, here's what I'd like, all of that kind of stuff. So then when I'm onto it, hopefully people will be like, yes, Starfield, and we can give it a go. And if it's good, I can cover it for a long time. And if it's bad, I can cry and go back to working retail.
No.
I really hope
I
it's
don't
good.
want Retail Sarge.
No one wants Retail Sarge. Retail Sarge sucks.
Oh, just got a comment. The driving is still trash in Cyberpunk. My first civilian kills me accidentally sliding into some random dude, and then the game told me about the police mechanic Lamau.
Oh dear. Well, it's official. Patch 1.5 sucks.
Yep.
Oh dear.
This is one aspect of it, though. Of course.
Yeah.
Driving expectations. Yeah. Speaking of expectations and personal drive, let's move on to the topic.
Whoa.
That was my weirdest transition, but it still worked. Which Fallout intros plus first hours are the best?
Yes.
And this was drawn from an old Reddit post now. Pretty old at this point.
It was probably so recent when we first put it in.
7 months ago. The immersion-shattering first act of Fallout 4 is what Star Trucked Next Gyrination posted. I guess I'll have. But mainly, the footnotes edition of this is they were not a fan at all of the front-loaded unlocks that Fallout 4 did for the player. Like, the stuff that they use for the promotional material, as well as, what the player experiences within the first few hours of the game. The Deathclaw, the power armor, the minigun, the power fantasy, immediate payoff kind of thing that they weren't really a fan of. Yeah. So we can go over, like, what we consider to be, like, good examples of Fallout intros and first hours, as well as bad examples.
Yeah.
So
what game do you want to start with? We could just go through them chronologically if you want.
Fallout 1 and Fallout 2 setups are good. Like the intro cutscene and stuff like that, but the tutorials are kind of trash.
I mean, Fallout 1's tutorial is meh.
But these are
fine, I guess. Fallout 2 has the Temples of Trials, which might be the worst tutorial in any Fallout game.
Yeah, like it's Fallout 1 was very much like no hand-holding, almost no hand-holding whatsoever kind of thing. It's just like, you're in a cave, you have your equipment, go. And then Fallout 2 was like, oh, you must go through the Temple of Trials to get to the rest of the game.
Yeah, you must be a melee build to start this game.
Not must, but it's strongly advised, or just like
you will struggle in the tutorial if you're not like melee based,
or just combat run your way all the way through up until the last guy. So and then just pickpocket him, take the key, and leave. There's plenty of approaches.
Yeah, the stuff you're saying though is often stuff that you do once you actually know about the game and kind of know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone's trying out for the first time, I feel like it's one of the worst introductions you can do to how the game actually plays.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good for telling you that the game's going to screw you over, but apart from that, it's...
definitely. Also, Fallout 1 and 2, and even Tactics to some degree, also had a reliance on the players reading the handbook that came with the game.
Oh, man.
Or the manual.
I'm too young to know about that stuff, Caedo.
Yeah.
What are these handbooks you speak of?
Well, I have one on my shelf.
What website are they on?
Well, luckily, they do come with the digital versions of the game. They are I think they're in PDF form, but you have to go into the game's files to find it.
Oh, so helpful.
It's called Manual.
Yeah.
And you get it with the game. Yeah. But normally, most people now, have the benefit of playing video games that have actual tutorials that tell you how to play the game inside the game, not needing a external source. Though there are games like Lost Ark that you still have to look up things online because it's underexplained or barely explained or explained way too late after you've already done it. Which is all kinds of fun.
Is it as bad as Final Fantasy VIII telling you about undead bosses once you're on like the third disc of the game after like several hundred hours of playing?
Oh, that sounds awful, but no, I don't think so.
That's the one I always think of when like a tutorial is too late. In Final Fantasy VIII, you even fight an undead boss, like, early on, and it does not tell you that you can use, like, restoration magic and items to deal with it, despite that always happening in Final Fantasy games.
That's
and when
funny.
you get to, like, real late, when you're heading to one of the late game areas, and the tutorial message just pops up being like, you can use healing items, and it's like, I've got hundreds of hours of this game so far, what are you doing tutorializing me?
Yes, thank you. Well, that's... I don't think Final Fantasy VII even tells you that. So...
Does it? It might not.
I don't know if it does.
I mean, I played it late, so I already knew about it, and I was like, "Oh, a ghost bust, Phoenix down."
Yeah, like you know it's a Final Fantasy thing. Like if you've played other Final Fantasy games, it just kind of gets ingrained. And I think in like Final Fantasy Tactics, like the zombie status or something like that, or no, that's zombies in 9.
Yeah,
it's a different.
You get the zombie status in 9.
Whatever undead status effect
well,
it is, like it causes the healing spells to do damage to your characters.
Yeah, but I mean that's in a lot of them. It's actually used quite effectively in 10, because there are enemies who will hit you with zombie and then heal you.
Ooh, that's mean.
Yeah,
that's mean.
It's kind of cool.
That's like white black in Magic.
Oh,
I don't know what mechanic is attached to that, but it's bullcrap. Anyway, back to Fallout intros and stuff. Okay, so Fallout 1 and 2, and you wanted to talk about tactics. I think you had something to say about tactics.
So I had to watch like the opening cinematic stuff to Tactics recently, and it sucks. It's not a good cinematic. Like, the biggest problem is it drags on and just holds on stuff way longer than it needs to. Like, there's a full 1 to 2 minute scene, which is literally, truck goes up to a garage, drives off. That's the entire scene. I've just told you everything that happens. And you don't, like, see people. You see, I believe, the Brotherhood of Steel emblem on the truck, and I think you see a sign saying you're in Chicago, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, that's, like, the two notable things that the scene tells you, and it's, like, a full minute or two, and it just holds on shots way too long. It seems to think it's doing something really cool, but it's not. And that's only one of the like little cinematic things you have to watch through. I want to say the downside of Tactics as well. I don't think it had an iconic 40s or 50s tune to go along with the intro. No. It sounded generically rocky, I want to say. Kind of a upbeat but hard rock song, I think. I can't even properly remember, but I feel like that might have been what was playing.
You might be thinking Brotherhood of Steel. I think it was more of like a dive bar western kind of sound for Tactics. It's been a while for me as well, but I mean,
I listened to it 2-3 days ago and I can't properly remember. That's how unmemorable it is.
I mean, it might have just been radio stuff too. Man, why don't we just let me just watch it.
Yeah, I'm clicking and looking as well. Yeah, it's kind of rocky, like a.
But it's over the radio. Okay.
Yeah.
Me. Yeah.
Man, the video I'm watching of it has 0 comments and only 33 views.
Dang, I must have found a better one.
I want to leave a comment.
Do it.
I don't know what to say.
Just type the word comment.
Okay. I've typed the word comment. There we go. That person gets a comment. Yeah, but man, I'm watching this intro, and oh god, it's more than 2 minutes. I had it shortened in my brain, but yeah, it's like it's 2.5 minutes long. You do also get to see like the little Jeep thing they're in Drive, which I'm guessing is supposed to be like, oh, look at how cool this is, but it does not hold up. And you get to see like the Chicago skyline, I guess, which is all right, but it's practically a still image of it you're looking at, and you get it for like a few seconds at the very end. It is just ruined buildings with nothing really significant shown. Like, it is not a good little intro. And then after that, there's another 5 full minutes of intro where it's like a book giving you a slideshow being like, the Brotherhood suck. They went on an airship. It crashed. That's it.
And then you meet up with Barnaky, and then he's recruiting tribals and all that stuff too.
Yeah. But it's like way too long of an intro video. It might be the longest intro video that like any of the Fallout games has. It's ridiculous. And it's not very good.
Dang. Well, I think it is fairly easy to tell kind of like what they were going for though, because after Fallout 1 and 2, you did have, you know, the Highwayman from Fallout 2, but you didn't have the ability to use it in combat. So I think that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to show like this.
Yeah, but the intro doesn't convey that. Like, if they'd had people shooting from it and stuff, fine. But literally all they show is it driving, which we just had in Fallout 2. It's like they failed to capitalize on the new thing and just show us in this big dramatic reveal that there's more of the same. Like, it's a shot on a miss.
It's showing a Humvee though, a working Humvee.
Yeah, but that's not like such an amazing bring up. But it's like, whoa, they got a Humvee to work as well? Crazy.
Yeah, you gotta remember, this is like in the 2000 era, early 2000 era, Sarge. Like this was a big deal, but now it's not.
I can't believe it's that big of a deal. Like, here's the thing. Obviously, today, it looks really bad, but even when it first came out, I can't see the reveal of there being a Humvee as, like, whoa, cool, amazing! Especially not 2.5 minutes worth of it. Just driving. Yeah.
Well, for me, it shows, you know, what to expect in the intro, but it's just overlong, as you said.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be complaining about it if they cut it. If they could have cut it to like 30 to 45 seconds easy, like without losing anything of value, and I'd have been fine with it because it wouldn't have like overstayed its welcome. It'd be like, oh, there's nothing here that's exciting for me, but it establishes like vehicles, location, wasteland, brotherhood. That's fine.
But it just took too long.
Way too long.
Okay, well. Should we talk about Brotherhood of Steel or just skip it?
You can talk about Brotherhood of Steel. I've never played it.
Okay.
The intro's got to be great though, right?
Yeah, okay. So if anybody is following along and looking at the intros of these games that they haven't played, the Fallout Tactics one at least had like radio and like a classical electric guitar riff kind of thing going on. Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, which is the console exclusive, has industrial metal in its soundtrack.
Yeah.
Like Meshuggah and Cell Dweller and Slipknot. Like, it just wanted to be as edgy as possible. So in the intro of that game, you have the illustrious Tony J voicing the intro. He's probably the best part of the entire game. And man, it does this light introduction of you being an initiate of the Brotherhood of Steel, finding out what happened to some paladins basically in Carbon, Texas. It does establish, you know, what's going on, but it doesn't feel like Fallout when you first fire it up. Like, it is a wasteland, yes, but the vibe feels completely off when you first experience it. Yeah. At least that's how it was with me. I did a full playthrough with Kite. It was pretty bad. The game and the playthrough, maybe. we were pretty inept by the final boss fight. Yeah. Had to do a lot of redos for that. And everything just kind of got recycled as like mini bosses as you were approaching the final area too. I watched through a little bit of it so, like a week ago or something like that, and man, I don't want to play that game ever again. But I might have to for something. What? I don't know what.
Oh no!
I might have to for something. It'll sneak up on me again. I know it. But I'll make sure to get it from Xbox next time. So I'll have to get an Xbox and an Xbox copy, because it'll capture a lot better than the PlayStation version. That's probably my biggest gripe about it, is the PlayStation version didn't capture very well. Because it wouldn't run on the PS3 without looking so glitchy. So I had to do it from the PS2, which looked like crap.
Jeez.
Anyway, also the tutorial is separate from the regular game in Brotherhood of Steel. but it says over the intercom in one of the worst voices you will ever hear that it's a beta.
Oh.
The tutorial for Fallout Brotherhood of Steel is unfinished.
That's not good.
Yeah, like a lot of the game.
Oh. Yeah, you call them out.
That's right.
We're only picking on easy targets today.
Man, for my next spicy take. No, okay, yeah, so Brotherhood of Steel is also it has preset characters. Like you're not really building your own character. You have to choose between 3 and then you unlock more as you play through. So the most customization you get is equipping stuff, which is, you know, power creepy. So like just equip the best thing and you'll be good. And your perks, some of which are just completely garbage. Some of which are just number increases. So meh.
Bad. Just bad.
Yeah.
In general.
Brothers, if you're gonna play a multiplayer Fallout game, play 76 for real.
Yeah.
Like don't play don't do that. Don't do Brotherhood of Steel. Just don't, please. Yeah. I know somebody has commented before like Brotherhood of Steel is something that they love, but it could just be nostalgia. But I don't like Brotherhood of Steel.
Well, we can move on from potentially the worst intro to what I would argue might be the best in Fallout 3. I've been watching the intro while you were talking about Brotherhood of Steel, and there's the little 2-minute video, and it's perfect. Just the tube coming on, and then I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire playing. A slow zoom out, and you go through the bus and get to see, like, things being alright at first, and then the more and more devastation, the reveal of a power armor, soldiers standing there, and it goes all dark, and the music goes. It's wow.
Almost perfect.
Yeah. Like, watching this, there is nothing I think where I'm like, oh, that could have been done better. Oh, I would have changed that differently myself. It's just, it's really good. It is Fallout. So Fallout.
Mm-hmm. And it's paying homage to the original game, and the first 2 games. The slow pan, pan from the TV that the first game did.
Yeah. The ads on the bus as well, showing like some Vault-Tec stuff, the Great War little thing. You get Nuka-Cola bottles.
Yeah.
And you get to see like the Washington Monument thing. What's it called?
That sounds like
it's the big white pointy thing that points to the sky.
Yeah.
The spire, yeah. It
Washington...
clearly shows you the location while still being kind of generic-y Wasteland City. I'm the Brotherhood of Steel Soldier. Man, this is great. I have no notes. 10 out of 10.
Now for the tutorial.
Oh, yeah.
That's where it falls short, right, Sarge?
I hate babies.
Me too.
They suck. I vote for them not existing anymore.
Yep.
Yeah, so actually having to play through as like, well, you start off as a baby and you play as a baby, then you're a child and there's your birthday party and you have to talk to your dad, you have to take a test. And while it does do a good job of like tutorializing some speech checks and the very basics of combat throughout the vault section, overall, it is not fun. At least, definitely not fun for me, and I feel like anyone who plays through it like more than once or twice, it will start to grate on you a bit.
Yeah. Should I do my reminder thing of the autosave that's right at the end of the...
Yes, because that's one I never think about.
End of the vault section. Yeah, there's an autosave that triggers when you leave the vault. So you can actually just go back to that save when you decide to play again and skip the entire vault segment. Unless you want to make different choices inside the vault, like killing the overseer or not.
Is the autosave like before or after you get to like choose the character thing for the second time?
It's right at that point. So like you can change your character's attributes and stuff. Yeah.
I suppose we should say that a good point for the actual gameplay intro section is at least that your choices do matter further down the game. That is nice.
Yeah.
Because they often don't right at the start, because the game is focusing on tutorializing you. Plus there's the medicine bobblehead to pick up.
Yep.
Like, there is some good stuff within the gameplay section, but just having to be a kid in a vault for a while is not super fun.
Yeah.
But once you leave the vault and you have the iconic like brightness and fading away so you can actually see the world, that moment is iconic.
Yeah.
Like you have two very iconic Fallout things, and then in the middle you have like
if it's a first time though, like I wish I could experience that for the first time again, because especially if it were my first Fallout game, if Fallout 3 were, because of that rug pull moment of like being safe in the vault to not being safe at all to being in the wasteland. Like that's pretty cool. Conceptually, the vault segment is a bit much later on.
I'm sure there are people who do enjoy it, but I don't want to play as a kid.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
And then they make you do it again.
Yeah. It also, as someone who like makes builds and things, it basically means you don't really have a backstory you can write of your own.
Yeah.
Because you know, like, from your birth up until the point you leave the vault, you've got all of these significant events, and people treat you in a certain way, so you have so little wiggle room. It's like you spent your entire life in the vault. What can I write around that? Just the personality.
The type of vault dweller you are is still pretty limited.
That I really don't like.
Mm-hmm.
But the next game in the series did the whole potential backstory thing perfectly.
Yeah. Which game would that be, Sarge?
That would be Fallout New Vegas.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Let's just put Obsidian on the pedestal really quick.
No, I've got some negatives and some positives for this. Because the backstory open-endedness of it is great. I feel like the DLCs take away from it a tiny bit, but not so significantly that it like ruins things. Mm-hmm. It's like you've clearly been a courier for a little while, and people seem to know you, and Mr. Crazy Ulysses dude is just crazy, so you can ignore his stuff if need be.
Yes.
But, like, that whole side's good. I do want to talk about the intro video for New Vegas, though, which I am not a fan of.
Oh!
Yeah. It's not like one of the ones where it's like, oh, this sucks. I'm not going to be going as hard on it as I was with Tactics, but I feel like it's very over-exposity. It, like, just tells you, here's all the factions! Now you can play the game. Like, the actual bit with Benny and you being shot, I like that. That's cool. The shot of the Ranger shooting at some raiders, that's iconic now. That's all cool stuff. But before that, where it's like, oh, and the NCR and Caesar's Legion have been fighting. Caesar's Legion all dress up as Romans. Here's Caesar. Oh, the NCR have been spreading this way, and the Caesar's Legion have been fighting and want to take over. That whole bit, if you cut it out, I feel like it would be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'd have much rather just found these factions, because knowing they exist before you start the game doesn't really give you any advantage. And, like, maybe it's nice to know the history, but people will tell you about the history non-stop in this game. It's the entire plot, basically. So you didn't need that extra information. You lose the, like, surprise factor of really finding out for yourself. I'm not a fan of that bit. So it doesn't like ruin it, but
if they change the intro to patrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for nuclear winter, and then just left it at that.
No, I still want like the shooting of the raider with a sniper rifle and Benny being like, you 9-carat run of bad luck. Pew, 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 pew. That's all good. But the stuff preceding that could just be cut and you'd be fine. You don't need to know about. I mean, the vaults and stuff, I get they're trying to like teach people, but you find it as you play. And none of it's like critical information for when you start. The critical information is, hey, Benny shot you. That's all you really need to know at the start of the game. And the rest of it is just... yeah.
Just extra?
Yep. Just unnecessary extra, which does more to take away than add on. But, now that I've been negative, I will say that some of the first, like, tutorial bit is good. I was about to say all of it's good, but then I remember the actual Doc Mitchell's house.
Yeah. That one drags for a bit.
Yeah. Like, it's not terrible, but when it gets to answering the questions while you're sat on the sofa, that's... That
one's just skip fodder.
Yeah.
It can be immersive, but again, it's another one of those, you know. Yeah. I'm pretty sure there is an autosave, like, out of Or no, there's not, because it prompts you once you are so far away from Goodsprings.
Yeah, once you kind of leave Goodsprings fully for the first time, you get asked if you want to change anything. So, and you could have done tons of stuff in that time, is the thing. So
yeah, you can exploit that way too, because you can go to the schoolhouse, have lockpick skill you need and whatnot.
Yeah.
Or like just build your character with all the skills you need for dealing with the Goodspring situation, and then completely change your build by the time you leave.
Yeah, it does feel like they should have done the autosave for just before you leave Doc Mitchell's house. Like, I don't know why they didn't do it that way. Maybe, you know what, maybe it is because they wanted to give people the chance to play around with their character a little bit in the opening area.
Yeah.
That I could see as working out.
Because, I mean, that's how Vault 101 worked, is like you had a chance to actually fight, you know, NPCs on your way out and get to understand your build. Maybe it was that, because you're not in a massive vault, you're just in a dude's house.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I will say once you do leave Doc Mitchell's house, though, besides the pop-up of all the DLCs, which is a bit annoying.
I modded that.
Got rid of it. Fair enough. I just have to deal with it. The whole Sunny Smiles thing, I like how it quite naturally and easily leads on to Ghost Town Gunfight, and then gives you this clear example of choosing a faction and karma and a reputation. Like, all of that is solid, no complaints, really. It's arguably it's a little too tutorial-y when you're talking to the people, but even then, that's a very mild complaint, I'd say, on that side. It's not the whole press X to do this. It's just,
I was going to mention the mod I got was called Tutorial Killer, and it has them pop up on the upper left-hand corner of the screen instead, like other notifications.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't get rid of them completely. It just puts them in a passive state instead of a press OK like 15 times.
Yeah, I literally just stand and wait outside Doc Mitchell's house for like 5 minutes.
It's lovely when you get the full effect of the you know, bright sun on the screen thing, kind of like because the Fallout 3 thing even waits, doesn't it? Like it waits until you walk out about 15-20 feet, and then it
you get
prompts you with all of them. Yeah.
See, I don't even properly remember the Fallout 3 one, because you do get kind of that breather. But New Vegas is just like, you've left the house, here's DLC.
Yeah. All of it.
Also, the New Vegas light reveal is maybe the weakest of the light reveals. Is it just 3-4 in New Vegas that do the big bright light reveal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's the weakest then. Because you are just kind of looking at some houses, and it's just some being a little bright, and like, it's not bad in terms of a reveal of the world. It's just okay, I'd say.
So I'm pretty sure you can see Vegas in the distance, too.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe?
It doesn't look very good. No, you wouldn't be able to see it, because it's over to your left.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you got your field of view super wide, you could see it, but I don't think you'd be able to see it, because you're basically looking out onto just hills and Goodsprings, and that's about it.
Now I've got to check my playthrough.
Yes. Okay, I've got it. Yeah, you can see, like, on the left-hand side, you get the water tower, and that's about it from outside Doc Mitchell's house. Yeah, you literally just see Goodsprings, like a power pylon off in the distance. There is not
it's a little
much good
Yangtze
stuff.
memorial straight ahead.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, the view is nothing special. And it's very orange, which is kind of a theme for New Vegas.
Yeah.
But yeah, that reveal's not great. Overall, though, I'd say, like, it's fine. Like, I don't have issues with the New Vegas opening in general, or no major issues, which mean that when I play through, I'm not having fun. It's just, like, some critiques about it.
Yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure you can just wipe out all of Goodsprings if you want to.
Yeah.
You can't do that in Vault 101.
No.
But that's probably because there's a follow-up quest that takes you back to Vault 101, but not the case for Goodsprings. So
yeah, Goodsprings is literally just like you go there once and then you never have to return.
It's a micro version of the greater things that you're gonna deal with the Legion and the NCR. So
yeah,
which in itself is pretty good for a tutorial too. Like, oh, this is a smaller conflict showing you what to do when you deal with them. Anyway, on to Fallout 4.
Yes. Fallout 4 gets a lot of complaints.
It does.
So I want to hear your take on Fallout 4.
My take?
First.
Oh my goodness.
I've been hogging these starts. I've been getting hyped up. I'll let you go first for this one.
They tried to go really hard on a character with a background narrative approach, and we already had that kind of discussion where because it's kind of in the middle, it's hard to identify with your character as the main antagonist of a story.
Wait, protagonist?
Main protagonist, sorry.
Alright.
You are your own enemy. I think the pre-war segment is cool. I think seeing pre-war before properly entering the wasteland and stuff like that, seeing how things were to how things are, is really cool. But again, like, it's really drawn out.
Yeah.
Like, super drawn out. You have the pre-war segment, which is building your character, which takes a while, and then you deal with the Vault-Tec rep, which is another part of your character creation. Like, it's all kind of split up a little more so than it was in Fallout 3, it feels like.
Yeah. And
then you have, going to the vault, going through the whole process of dealing with Vault-Tec and stuff like that, getting into the cryo tubes, and then waking up, and then doing the next part of the tutorial, which is combat. It's feels a little spread out. It's like,
I agree.
What would you think is worse, like the family time walking through, or existing as a baby and a child? Which one?
I mean, I can't stress enough how much I hate children.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be, for me, the being a child. Because at least in the Fallout 4 one, I get to see a child be traumatized by having their parent killed while they're being held. So, that's just great fun for me. But please laugh, Caedo, or else I seem even more sadistic. There we go. Well, I'm having a laugh. Please don't need to get involved. Yeah. I think I prefer Fallout 4's opening a little bit more, but honestly, for me, the thing I do like about that Fallout 4 opening is that you get to kind of see and run through Sanctuary pre-war. So then when you do get kind of the light reveal and you see it all destroyed, it has somewhat of an impact. Obviously, that's going to happen, but seeing like the before and after is kind of nice. It's a cool little thing, which we don't normally get to experience. But
yeah,
that's like basically the positive for that section, though.
Yeah.
The little intro movie, though, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So. That's from instead of being narrated by Ron Perlman, the narrator.
Yep.
You get the main character, sharing what's going on from their perspective, which is still trying to make them a proper protagonist with a backstory kind of thing.
Yeah.
While still leaving that little bit of wiggle room, which doesn't quite work.
No. The backstory element of Fallout 4 isn't great. It's by no means as bad as Fallout 3, and I was able to work with it for my Fallout 4 builds, but the thing I ended up doing with so many Fallout 4 builds were, when it was an evil character, I was just like, yep, and they're pretending to be a good person, normal citizen living in the suburbs. Anyone who has seen a lot of my Fallout 4 characters will know that's basically the thing I had to go with whenever I went with a slightly evil character, because the game does just set you up as regular Joes in the suburbs of America, which is annoying.
But then, also after emerging from the vault, like that's the bright moment, which is kind of good, because you get to see, like, as the bombs are dropping, going into the vault, and then what it looks like after you emerge, which also has its own special effect to me as a player. I don't know about other people, but I think that was very effective.
I still personally prefer Fallout 3's like reveal in that way, despite there not being a before and after. I don't know exactly what it is, but Fallout 3 for me just hits a bit harder with that reveal. I can't describe why, though.
Maybe being a stupid baby and growing up in a sterilized environment.
Stupid baby. I almost swore then. I hate babies so much I'm going to start swearing.
Being a dumb baby.
No, the Fallout 4's little light reveal is good. But then you get into like the gameplay section, and this seems to be where most of the complaints come about. The Reddit post, which kind of inspired this topic, is basically complaining about how you're like standard cryogenically frozen person who suddenly starts doing all this action and fighting with a minigun and power armor.
Yep.
Because most people will end up going to I can't remember the name, Museum of Freedom, and meeting up with Preston Garvey and that lot and going through that section. Even though that technically is all optional stuff, it is the thing that most people do. And it's kind of like the ending of the intro, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good design, too. Like, it guides the player in that direction, which is, you know, is a testament to their design. But we can have all the complaints we want about Concord in general.
Yes.
Too much power.
Yep. Getting power armor and a minigun and killing a Deathclaw straight away is a bit much. Like, it's a bit ridiculous. While technically optional, because it is clearly designed to happen right at the start, it's not good. Like, there could have been ways to do it all right. Like, if the power armor was even more broken, or if you had to, like, just wait for the Deathclaw to go, if that was an option, I feel like that could be a bit better. But it is very much just the game wants you to be clad in power armor, be firing a minigun, and a Deathclaw. That's basically the choice you have, is to do that, or to not.
Yep, or take a really long time trying to kill the Deathclaw from, like, a cheating location, like is inside any of the buildings, basically. Yeah, and then waste all your ammo because you didn't use the minigun.
Yep.
Or try to melee it and then die.
Oh yeah, that'd be bad.
There's also that.
It is a bit of a jarring one, going into that quite so quickly. Your character would really get no time to kind of adjust to this new world, which is a complaint plenty of people have on the role-playing side of things. There's a gameplay complaint of too much power. It was very much for the trailer, it feels like.
Definitely.
Than anything else.
Yeah. I'm hoping that it's not as blatant in Starfield.
Yeah, hopefully.
Like,
fingers crossed.
They've done this many times too, right? Like, we can go through like the Elder Scrolls games as well at some point because they have their own tutorial situations. But all of them you start as a prisoner. You
start as a prisoner in all the mainline Elder Scrolls games. I'm not sure about the side stuff. ESO, you probably start as a prisoner, depending on the expansion, maybe.
I'm pretty sure you do. When I played the Morrowind expansion, it was a prisoner situation. Yeah,
I've played Morrowind as well as a thing, and one other. Like, they probably have it as a prisoner. That's kind of like their gimmick for the start.
Yeah. But that gives a lovely opening for a backstory.
Yep. That's great. It's why backstories in Elder Scrolls are so nice and easy. You are generally a stranger to the lands, but even that isn't always guaranteed. So you can just do what you want.
Yeah.
And anyone can end up in prison, so you don't even have to be evil for it.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls does it very well. So hopefully Bethesda are learning from Elder Scrolls and will focus more on those openings than their Fallout openings.
Yeah.
Which are flawed.
A little less on the narrative side for the leading role, whoever that is.
Yeah. Although 76 obviously far less on the narrative side overall.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I'm gonna state right now that the 76 opening in general is fine.
No.
Yep. Super hot take there.
It's remotely positive.
Yeah,
I shun you.
Yep. No. There's like a little... I'm pretty short from what I recall opening cinematic thing. I'm going to double check now.
It is, yeah.
So the intro video for 76 is actually 2.5 minutes. It's a little longer than I thought it was. But it's decent. Like, it's not as good as the Fallout 3 one. That is the best intro video.
Yes.
but there's nothing like egregiously bad about it in any way. It's very much fine, which I think is going to be the theme for most of it. Like, there's lots of slow motion in it, which is a bit unnecessary, but not terrible. You get to see, like, actual character models moving around a lot, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a nice little thing. You get to see Vault 76 and the people leaving, and it goes from black and white to colour once you get to the actual present-day kind of, or inside the vault stuff, which is cool. Like, yeah, it's solid. I've got no real complaints about it, except for it could have just been cool, like the Fallout 3 one. But yeah, the intro cinematic's fine, and then when you wake up, you get a good character creator thing to deal with, and then you can just, like, run through the vault to the exit, or you can explore the vault for a bit and just kind of hang out in it, and yeah, it's, once again, it's like, I got no real complaints about the vault section.
Nice.
Like, it tutorializes stuff with signs, but it's not heavy on it.
It's a quick one, too.
Yeah.
I wonder if one of the goals was just shortening tutorial time so players could just play the game.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, especially seeing as there's less of like a personal narrative with 76, seeing as it's a multiplayer game, there'd be less incentive to try and build up the character as a person.
Yeah.
Because everyone's playing it, and if you're all built up as exactly the same, it's a bit much. So all they could really do was, hey, you've all been inside Vault 76. Ta-da! And
the first character you know, or you get to know of, is the Overseer, and then shortly after that, the Wayward folks.
Yeah, see, that is one thing with the Fallout intro, because it's changed a bit once you get outside of the vault.
Yeah.
Because at first it was just, go around, there's a robot who will tell you to, like, go explore, basically, and find the Overseer. But now there's, like, actual people coming to, like, crack the vault. I think they're still around, who you can have a full-on conversation with and learn more about the world. You go down that way, or you can go down the other way and fight some Liberators and get some gear there. You are loosely led towards the Wayward, where you get the pub and get to start some, like, side Wastelander stuff, which is very cool. Like, I feel like 76 is a bit more open on the directions you can choose to go, but still does a reasonable job of guiding you towards some quest stuff now.
Yeah, there's still a path.
Yeah.
A an actual, like, road to walk along. So, can't get any more directed than that. They kind of did that with Fallout 3 as well. Like, the road led directly to Springvale and Megaton. So
yes. I mean, all of the modern Fallout games, I'd say, do a reasonable job of directing you.
Yeah.
Like, maybe New Vegas is the worst, but I say that in a way that it's not bad in any way. It's just you get a bit of a junction, and I feel like the quest marker guides you maybe a little more than you'd go if you had no HUD, but it's not by much. Like, yeah. At 76, I really don't have any major complaints for the opening.
Yeah. Same. I found it easy and straightforward, especially now with, like, the Wastelanders stuff. Like, it actually presents the world in a better way than just holotapes. Even though exploring and finding those holotapes was still pretty good in my mind, was still pretty good in establishing, like, what happened to everyone. I know that definitely can be kind of off-putting or uninteresting to a lot of people too. So, 76 is fine.
Yay!
I fully agree. But 3's, I think we can both agree that 3's is probably the best for intros and tutorials, or intros. Sorry.
Yeah, it's 3 has the best bookends. Like, the very start and the very end of the intro are great. It's the vault section in the middle, which isn't so good.
Yeah.
For that section in the middle, I feel like 76 might actually have it just because it's really short.
Yeah. It's the shortest, I think.
Yep.
Or close to the shortest, besides Fallout 1.
Yeah, like, you can potentially hang around inside and check out stuff. You can play football or soccer, as you'd say it, and you get to, like, read through the Overseer stuff if you want to, and the signpost, the literal, like, posts up telling you what to do and where to go. But that's all basically optional. You can run straight out of the vault. and it takes like less than a minute.
Yep.
Which is good. It's good. I have just realised we didn't talk about the Fallout Shelter opening.
The one opening?
How could we?
Is that a game?
The intro to Fallout Shelter. You know, how it just loads up and you start playing the game? Which, I mean, arguably is quite good. Just getting straight into the game.
If you say so, I've barely spent any time on that, so that's all you.
Yeah, it's... No, but, I mean, I've said all there is to say about it.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But what about Fallout Pinball? What's the intro to that like?
The fact that it's part of another game?
Oh, yeah. Alright. Well, I think we've covered all of them. What is the best? What is the worst? The
Brotherhood of Steel, I think, is still the worst to me. Because I didn't even mention the ridiculous introduction of the Raider matron, who is basically just wearing belts around her important bits. Like,
oh dear.
she's and dual wielding pistols and just jiggling all over the place. Like, it is the most like edgy early 2000s
man,
rock your face off, trying to be trendy kind of game. And at this point, if you go and play it, like you'll see it. You'll see it everywhere. And it's not great. And I think the best intro would be Fallout 3's, which is the thing that we agreed on. First tutorial, I mean that I think that goes to 76.
Yeah,
because it pushes you through, it gives the information you need, and then feeds you information on the new content as you go, and a lot of the time it's voiced and pretty clear. So
yeah,
like most of the stuff that you need. Like I remember in Fallout 4 when you got introduced to the settlement building, it was still a lot to digest.
Yeah,
like that was a mess. But I remember camps, because of how they're a little more contained or a little more personal, that they're a little bit easier to pick up than settlements.
Now there's a tutorial where you actually have a ghoul telling you about it with some tapes and some conversation and stuff, which is it's even better. And
it's Jay from Jay and Silent Bob.
Whoa! So
that's cool.
I think more than anything, what we found here is short is good.
Yes,
because we picked the shortest actual tutorial section and the shortest like intro video, pretty much.
Or we're both just really impatient people and want to get to the thing we're trying to do or record.
I feel like a large part of it is also because these are games which we play many, many times over.
Yes.
And like the longer intro things are fine if you're just doing like one playthrough, I feel like. But if you're on like playthrough 10, playthrough 20, playthrough 100, you don't want to be going through like 5-10 minutes of this same opening, which you can't really change too much of.
Yeah.
You just can't handle it after a while. But just being able to run through, get through things quickly, or have it just be well made and brief is great.
Mm-hmm.
So Bethesda, if you're listening in the future, nice and short, put some iconic music on, convey the information quickly. That's all it takes, and we'll be happy.
Yeah. Just get good, Bethesda.
Yeah, get good. Scrub it. Caedo, what you been playing?
Oh, well, I already kind of gushed about Lost Ark, so I'm not really going to talk about that too much. I'm playing Gunlancer. It's cool. It's a tanky class, and also has a lot of mobbing abilities that are really fun. But also, before that, I was playing Dying Light 2. There have been numerous games that have released close to each other that I've just been playing the crap out of. And Dying Light 2 was prior to Lost Ark, and prior to that was Monster Hunter Rise. Like, there's been so many freaking games that I've wanted to play and have been playing. So Dying Light 2, it's fun. It's kind of what I was hoping for. It's a zombie romp that you can play cooperatively with a whole bunch of parkour and some improved combat and even more verticality, if that were possible, which it is. Perfect. So like, and it's got kind of like a feigned faction system. Like there are consequence based choices through quests, but they only seem to really matter at the very, very end.
Okay.
Like there's some short-term ones for quests, like picking and choosing, but a lot of the time they have similar outcomes. Like you go to help someone and they're doing something illegal and you're just like, I'm gonna turn you in, then you just kill them on the spot. But if you're just like, yeah, I'll help you, they end up dying later in the quest line anyway, so it's just a tied up loose end no matter what. Like those kinds of false choices are kind of here and there in Dying Light 2. One thing I will mention though is the survivors are so incredibly unlikable. The underdog faction has so many NPCs I wanted to punch in the face. Whereas the PKs, which are basically the Brotherhood of Steel of Dying Light 2, are actually well acted, well motivated, and have a structure to speak of. And like, I just like the PKs more, the Peacekeepers. So if you do play Dying Light 2, I would recommend siding with the Peacekeepers, but the faction you decide to side with also helps determine like what kinds of upgrades and what would you call them, parkour assists that'll be scattered across town, like once you start giving the water tower or the power station to whichever faction. I still recommend the PKs because they also end up giving you a sweet ass crossbow, a badass crossbow, and nice. I don't think there's any other way to get it. So Nelsar is my co-op buddy, has been my co-op buddy for Dying Light, and it is insanely overpowered for a late game. So that's one more reason. Like I joined the survivors and got nothing of the sort. By finishing the game with them. So like,
what are they trying to do? Just live or something?
They are. They're just being a-holes to everyone, including the person who's trying to help them most of the time. Like, it's ridiculous. I wish that some more time was spent on like, it's also like the first half of the game. The first half of the game, a lot of the NPCs are just plain unlikable. Like you have to get to the second section of the game to find NPCs that are actually tolerable and somewhat relatable. That's my own experience. It could be different for the rest of you, but even you can use like Fallout 3, for example. Like they had like very clear a-hole characters, but they weren't like incredibly in your face, like I hate you, you suck, blah, blah, blah. And it was just that, like a lot of the time over the radio in Dying Light 2. For no reason. Like a lot of the time it was no reason. Aiden was just being blamed for someone, like, we don't know where this person is, you were the last person to see them, we hate your guts, go find them, like that kind of thing. And I'm just like, man, can I just blow you all up? Can I just megaton all of you? Because that's what I want to do in this game. Anyway, I have strong feelings about the NPCs, but the gameplay is incredibly fun. Killing zombies with your friends is amazing. And the new improvements that they added to the equipment itself is pretty cool too. Like equipment has, at least armor has classes to it. So you can go for a particular build that gives you specific bonuses for fighting during the day, fighting at night, fighting humans, fighting infected, one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, ranged weapons. So you can actually specialize your character a little bit more than you could in the first game.
Nice.
Which I find really cool. And volatiles, the scariest zombies, the ones that are often used in the key art, are utterly terrifying and do a lot of damage in this one, but they require a little bit of annoying all of the zombies to get them to appear. They have like a wanted system almost. It's called chase, but
yeah, basically
you alert the zombies enough, then the volatiles come out and they start chasing you, and if one of them tackles you, you're probably dead. So anyway, yeah, that's Dying Light 2 in a nutshell. Lots of fun. Some of the NPCs suck, but mostly fun. Sarge, what have you been playing and doing?
Oh, well, I've continued a little bit of my Fallout 4 playthrough, where I've been trying to actually hang out with all the followers in the game, because normally I just go Lone Wanderer, because it's the best perk in that game, so why wouldn't you do it?
It's a very good perk.
But yeah, I decided I was going to try and hang out with all the followers, get like all of their companion perks, and I think so far I've got Piper, Nick, Codsworth. Have I got someone else's yet? I think I've only got those 3 so far, and I'm working on Dance, who for some reason is not being like happy when I'm doing Brotherhood missions. He just doesn't seem to care. So instead I'm just stepping in and out of power armor to make him happy. Because yeah, supporting the Brotherhood, no thanks. Wearing power armor,
that's right.
Hell yeah.
That's right. That's how you support
Dance.
your good friend Dan's. Just step into some power armor and step back out. He's
been kind of useless at times. He's clearly like quite strong because he's in big power armor and has a gun which he fires very quickly. Lots of lasers all over the place. But I posted a Twitter clip a few days ago of a point where he had just stopped moving, and I just pushed him a little bit forwards so that he was blocking me from being shot by a super mutant, and then when the super mutant reloaded, I just duck out and shoot it. Because Dance is a great meat shield.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've been playing a little bit of that, especially seeing as I've got some Fallout content coming up in a month or 2.
What?
Woo, get excited.
Yeah.
Although it's only a week until my final Skyrim build. So if you like the Skyrim builds, they're ending and there's nothing you can do.
Oh no, Sarge! I need 100 more builds pronto.
No! The game I've had fun with for a whole 9 hours because I had no power for the past 24 hours. I've literally had power for about 2.5 hours at the time we're recording this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got back, and it was like, oh cool, we can record in half an hour. And that's been all the time I've had power for. But Total War Warhammer 3, it released on Thursday. There's been a few like clear issues early on. I'm kind of actually hoping there's been like a patch while my power's been out, so I'll be able to like optimize it a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But it has been very fun. It's the final game in the trilogy, and I am happy with it. I've only played as Greasus Goldtooth of the Ogres, streamed a couple of hours, played 7 more in my own time, and it's been good. It has been what I wanted, and once Immortal Empires drops, I'll be able to play with every single character in the game, and it'll just be huge and incredible.
I think it's awfully convenient that 2 of our most anticipated games released within a month of each other.
Yeah. I mean, it was within like 2 weeks, I want to say.
And we both get to geek out about it in the same episode. I think that's awesome. That they're both they're both very fun games. They both turned out to be fun games.
Oh yeah, Total War Warhammer 3. One of the biggest things I want to say about it is settlement battles are now fun. It used to be if you attacked like a minor settlement, you'd just have a battle on like the standard field type or terrain type of the area you're in. So it might be snowy, there might be a forest, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's actual settlements which are based around each of like the races in the game. So ogres have like these crude but mountainous regions. Kislev have slightly more built-up human-looking places, and you actually have to like capture victory points, and the defender can build towers up with defender resources. It's become like this whole huge thing, where previously it was just, here's a field, fight. Now it's got tons of mechanics.
So instead of open war, it's a little more involved.
Yeah, and it's really, really good. It gives huge advantage as well to even if you're like a smart player who doesn't have as strong an army, you can still like win settlement battles by just smart positioning of your troops, and it feels a lot more tactical, which I'm loving.
Oh, cool. Nice. Well, we would love to know what you thought about our which Fallout intros you think commenters are your favorites or the best or whichever, and which tutorials you absolutely hate. To be a comment of the cast, leave a comment. And if you want to catch us again in the future episode of the PIPCAST 3000, episode 80, we'll be back on in 2 weeks, 10 a.m. Pacific on Sunday.
Yep.
So you all take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.